Hey, Robbie.
Hey, Ricci. How's it going?
It's good. It's busy over here.
I'm sure. Oh, my goodness. It's crazy. First of all, I cannot believe we're even at the end of July.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know. But August is my birthday month, so we can move on. We can go on.
Yes. Happy birthday. Real quick, I do want to remind everybody, if they are hopping onto the show, definitely say hey, let us know you're here. We would love to hear from you throughout the show as well. And then also with our guests, if y'all ever have any questions, be sure to comment and ask. And if we can get to them, we will bring them in. So definitely, talk with us. We love to engage with our audience as well.
And today's going to be a good day to ask questions because I could probably talk forever and ask questions about this.
Okay, me too. I'm so excited.
So let me tell you a little bit. You remember last week I wasn't feeling really well?
Yes. Are you feeling all better? You sound
better. But look, so I kind of started to get a fever, and I was like, what? Oh my God. And we had a friend, and we were kind of exposed to the coronavirus.
Oh gosh.
Like roundabout way. Anyway,
yeah.
So then I freaked out, and I was like, oh, maybe this is bad. This is bad. Mm-hmm. So I went and got a COVID test. Well, and that's a whole nother story because everybody's like, there's no rapid test, there's no this, there's that,
Yeah.
I ended up at the emergency room because they were like, well, if you don't have pre-authorization, you can't do a quick rapid test. And my husband calls, he's like, what are you doing? And then the guy's like really mean to me. And he's like, well, this test just cost you $1,000. And I was like, what? You want me to come here? And then of course I felt bad. I was like, I'm so sorry I took a bed. And like, if you really need these rapid tests, don't use it on me. And anyway, it was a whole nother experience. But Heather is a mine that's coming on today.
To your brain and
okay, that Robbie, yeah, I felt it. I mean, literally, the girl, of course, I'm in the ER, so she's probably like, I've seen worse. I had to jerk her hand and be like, okay, enough. You have gone as far as you're gonna go.
Yeah.
Normally they'll just swab like this. Well, it was like,
oh my gosh, that's what I heard. They touched your brain almost.
For days, I could feel I think
that's why I don't even want to get sick.
No.
No.
And next time I'm gonna be like, yep, this is probably COVID. We're not gonna go get a test. So it was awful. But anyway, it turned out I called him back and it was negative, thank goodness. But I did have something else going on. So that I was feeling bad. But I mean, in this day and age right now, to get a fever, everyone flips out.
Right.
So, but
that's the thing. So how high was your fever?
Not very high, only like 99, but I never run fever. So I was like, if I'm running fever, I'm dying.
Oh my God.
I'm dying. So anyway, it was, it's all good now. And
was the ER packed?
Huh?
Was it crowded when you went to the ER?
No. And that was the other thing. Cause I went to a smaller clinic but it was an ER clinic. And so they had told me and if you have symptoms, they'll say, we'll get you right back. It was a very the whole day I was so traumatized. And then I was like, never again. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to hear the word anymore. If it ever happens to us here, Heather, who's on with us today, is actually been through all of this. So I did call her and I was like, talk to me, either calm me down or what's going to happen, So she's a great person to have on our show today because she has been through it. She's lived through it. Her husband is one of the less fortunate that really got sick and ended up. So I'm just excited to hear her story. And I think it's going to help other people out there kind of realize the stigma that's behind it. And then, just the do's and don'ts and things like that.
Yeah, that's the key. I'm super excited. I'm definitely ready to bring her on and just her whole story in general.
Yes. She's a cutie little amazing person that's got I'm just super excited for everybody.
Okay. Well, I'm going to bring her on in just so we can go ahead because I have a feeling we're going to get carried away talking with her and it'll go longer. So as they say, we need to get started.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see here. Welcome, Heather.
Hey, ladies. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Hello.
So did you hear a little bit about what we were talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
And so much of what you were saying I can relate with.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Obviously, I've had a few traumatic stories of my
I know. Well, before we start, though, Heather, tell us a little bit about you and because we always like to introduce everybody with a little background because this is a busy mama show and you qualify as a busy mama. And then on top of that, things got really hairy there for a minute. So we like to know what about yourself, your family, things like that. What puts you in the realm of the busy mama?
So first and foremost, I'm a woman of faith. That's the driver of most of what I do. My relationship with God. Secondly, I'm a mama of 2 kids, a boy and a girl. And they are 7, 8, and 6. I'm sorry, 8 and 6.
All the time.
Yes.
I
had to think about it a minute. And they go to a private school, so I'm constantly driving them back and forth. I am a stay-at-home mama. However, at one point, I was a dental assistant, and I went to school for that. And I did really enjoy being with people, and I just loved the one-on-one time with people.
Yes.
So I'm a lover of fashion. I love
with your purple earrings.
I love the earrings.
The more fun, the better.
Exactly.
Also, I'm a lover of fitness. But I recently became that way. Only in the last 2 years. I could never find a program that worked for me. Actually, I started out the YMCA, and I was doing okay. But then I found Burn. And Burn has changed my life. I absolutely love it. I just went from being a dental assistant to becoming a stay-at-home mom. But obviously I'm busy with that, taking care of my family.
Yep.
My husband works for Google, so we enjoy that, and so I am thankful that I get to be home with my kids, especially with them being at a private school. So
definitely,
yeah.
So that's usually what I'm doing, and taking care of myself, right? Because we have to take care of ourselves.
Right? Exactly.
For sure.
If we can remember, you have to write it in. Take care of me.
Absolutely.
Well, and that's how I met Heather, because I'm a fellow Burn sister, but she actually, Robbie, I don't know if you know this, but she was like a before and after, and then she did a photo shoot with them and all this. So I kind of caught wind of her that way, and I'm like, oh my God, you're so adorable.
You're like a Burn celebrity then.
When she told me she went to Burn, I was so excited.
So
that is awesome.
I just love meeting other people. I actually last year did an ad campaign with Burn, and I got to go to do a photo shoot there and meet a lot of people. It was super fun with some of my other local Burn sisters. So it's great, and
that's awesome.
I've loved the journey. Honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely a community for sure. I mean, we just you meet a Burn sister, and it's like meeting a sorority sister, back in the day.
Well, and let's just say Burn Brothers too, right?
Yes.
There's some amazing, and there's nothing better than working out alongside them and kicking butt. You're like,
there you go, yeah.
Too. Me too.
Yeah.
So it's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good times. So.
Yeah. Well, Heather, as we kind of mentioned, and as you're talking about Burn and kicking butt, I know you've had to kick COVID's butt, your family. So definitely tell us a little bit about y'all's experience, what the COVID-19 has had on your family.
Wow. So, so we were at the beach, and we were only there 2 full days, and we were staying pretty socially distanced. I mean, we were, up until that point, we were being super careful about exactly what we were doing. And my husband was doing the running for a lot of our family. I mean, as far as going to the grocery store, and he would go into work. He went into work one time that week and things like that the week before. And then we went to the beach, and we were only there 2 full days. And he started coming down with symptoms. And we were unsure because it didn't start off as typical. It didn't start off as typical symptoms. No, it started off with a cough and all of that. Mm-hmm. It started off with gastro symptoms. And then it became chills and a fever. And he did tell me his ears were a little stuffy and congestion, but I'm like, maybe you just have a sinus infection or an ear infection. He wasn't really coughing a whole lot. So we come home and, he would feel a little bit better one day. And then the next, right back to, I don't feel well. He actually mowed the lawn while he went out and said, I feel better. Mow the lawn.
Why not?
So I'm going to go to, then the weekend came, we were back home. Y'all, I have to tell you, on the way home from the beach, I was like, I don't know what you have. So I told him at one point, it's like, we had got some food, and I'm like, I'm going to try not to drink off of your glass. But I ended up picking up the wrong glass on accident. I actually drank off of his glass.
No.
So this is amazing in itself that I have not had full-blown symptoms, or that I didn't have symptoms.
Yes.
So we come home and he's not feeling well, and he says, I'm going to go to the urgent care. And of course you can't be seen. You're driving through, you're getting swabbed before anything. Yeah. So he did. And he said he knew right away he was positive, because what happens is when you're positive, the guy's got the mask on. He puts the face shield on to come talk to you, to give you your test. He knew right away. See, he didn't do that for me when I went through and got the negative test. Didn't put the face shield on for me.
So you did that right there in the car line,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
could they just see it on him, or what? Why would they say they knew right away?
Well, because he put the face shield on.
No, the guy, he looked at your husband and was like, I'm going to put this shield on. Could he just
I'm sorry. You drive through the line and you have to wait. I'm sorry. I forget that everybody doesn't do it the same way. You have to drive through the line and you have to wait for the test after they, stick that clear onto your brain.
Gotcha.
And wait for 15 minutes to come back and say.
And he came back with the shield.
Yeah. So he came back with the shield.
Gotcha.
Yeah. June 2nd is when he was positive. I know, right to the day. And then I immediately went and got tested, and I was negative.
Wow.
What's the amazing thing about that is the minute I pulled up, there was a burn sister. She recognized me, and I was just crying. Yeah. Because I was like, oh gosh, this starts a whole chain of events for us right here.
Right.
Where we're going to have to socially distance. I was fearful, scared, all of these things. And she said a lot of people are recovering from this. She said, your family's going to be okay. I knew God put her there for me at that moment. And I was just crying, and they were all kind of consoling me. And the doctor even, or I don't know if he's a nurse or whatever, but when I came through and got the negative test, and he said, your family's going to be okay.
Oh,
he tapped me on the shoulder.
Yeah.
So then starts quarantine.
Yeah. Now, did your boys get tested as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Now that comes later.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, you just quarantine. Start with quarantine.
Yep. So he's socially distanced. The first day he was on the couch and we walked out and around him, and I was kind of militant with my kids about it.
Yeah.
It was like out and around, we need to keep 6 feet. And what 6 feet looks like to you is 2 arms lengths away. We need 6 feet is 2 arms length away, because I had heard that.
Okay.
And so I told them, and it was very difficult to keep my kids away from their dad.
Oh yeah,
sure.
And I had a lot of anxiety in that, because keeping my kids away from their dad and him being downstairs, it gave me a lot of anxiety. And so he eventually said, he goes, I can see that this is creating a lot of anxiety for you. So I'm going to move upstairs to the bonus room, and we're going to separate. And and so I continue to take care of him up there, with bringing him food. And I actually I would put a mask on, because from the moment that we did find out that he was what it was, I started to take bigger measures. I put on a mask when I would go to see him. We would stay 6 feet away. that was difficult, y'all. That was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And then I felt like a single mom for 2 weeks because he's out here fighting for his life. And I mean, it got pretty terrible. So he's in the bonus room up here and I'm bringing him food. I'm like sticking medicine in a plastic bag and I'm chucking it at him. And I would bring the food and I would put it up, on the tray or up in the room and set it down and things like that. But the one place my family felt safe was outside. He would put a mask on and this is, I'm going to get emotional now. He would put a mask on and he would walk outside and sit on the patio furniture. And my kids would go out there and they would stand at a distance and they would speak to him. And then my son, I actually have a picture of him sitting on the stairs playing Minecraft with Daddy as the light's shining down and my son sitting there because they get on the same game. Some of the most, you're so far away from each other, but some of the most togetherness that you could possibly have because you're literally in this fight with each other, right? I mean, we're fighting to stay alive here. And so my husband began to progressively get weaker and weaker. Even on an antibiotic, Zithromax, and an inhaler. He began to take. Was
it his breathing, or was he still having stomach stuff too, or did it?
The cough, the congestion got a little worse. I mean, his head was still full. The cough did get a little. I mean, he was never really like coughing so badly, but I could hear. That the cough was getting more, and just when he would talk, he would kind of go, kind of type thing. And then he said it would hurt to breathe in deeply.
Oh, wow.
And the breathing in deeply is what is a big concern. When someone feels that they can't breathe deeply and it hurts, it's time. And that's the biggest thing that I want to get out to people. If you're sleeping a lot, if you're sleeping so much that you can't awake and you can't breathe deeply, go to the doctor.
Yes.
I mean, because he didn't know.
Right.
Like,
Well, that's
at one point he said,
I wouldn't have known that. Like, I just wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And he didn't want to go to the hospital, but he was sleeping a lot more. I was having trouble getting him awake and I was getting to get up to take a shower.
Yeah.
He was getting weaker and weaker. And I had this sinking feeling in my stomach that if he didn't go, I was just afraid that I was going to come up there. And it just got increasingly scary to me. So I began to pray. I mean, I really leaned into God. And at one point I was walking the night before, I started to get mean with him. I said, I think it's time for you to be seen. I said, another nurturing kind of just, it's time for you to be seen. I don't feel right about this. And it's getting harder for me to help you. Yes. And so, he looked at me and said, I'll think hard about it. And I'm like, I think you need to think really hard. I need you to do this. And his concern was that if going to the hospital, he would be more of a burden. I'm just wanting you to see kind of the feelings that we're all going through. He felt like he would be a burden to our family if he left us and went to the hospital. And actually, it gave me great relief. Because I knew that it was getting harder and harder to take care of him, and I wasn't having a great gut feeling. So I was walking through my living room and I'm praying, and God just reminded me that the thought really just popped into my head. He told me in the most loving way, he said, remember, I love him more than you do.
Wow.
And
that's wrong.
I just remembered that that, you know what, he took his life for us, and or he allowed himself to endure a lot of pain for us, and I knew that he was going to take care of my husband. So, and actually, I had a devotion because I do that regularly, and I love to listen to worship music. That's what fills me. That's what keeps me whole. And I had listened to. Well, actually, let me keep going with I'll keep going with the story. And then, so he went. So the next morning, he calls me up on the phone, and he said, "Okay, I'm ready to go. Call the non-emergency line. I need to go." It's like, I'm afraid if I stay here another day, I won't make it.
Hey, Heather, during this time, were people checking in with you when he tested positive?
That's what I'm about. Let me tell you how that all came.
Okay.
God is amazing in how he works. I just have to say that. So,
well, I meant like the health department and stuff. Do they monitor it?
Honestly, not at that point. They didn't.
I wasn't sure if they would like check in and kind of see symptoms and things like that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That whole system was jacked.
Okay.
For as bad as he was, and we were like on telehealth doctors. Nobody wants to touch it because it's that severe, that and contagious. We were on telehealth doctors, and I'm over here asking him, when are you supposed to have the next visit?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know. Let me tell you something about COVID. COVID affects your cognitive ability.
I've heard that.
This person's at home and they're out of it. They don't remember a lot of details, like what's supposed to happen. I mean, he could think, but I mean, it even gives you hallucinations, headaches.
Really?
Yes, he said he had some of the most. That is not you can have hallucinations from medication, but that is a symptom of COVID.
I've heard that.
He said he has never had such weird dreams and hallucinations that he felt with this. It was crazy. So, and headaches, which I'm assuming, same thing. I mean, it's all part of it.
So you got to the hospital, and then what?
Oh, he went by himself.
Oh, okay.
At that point is where my journey close to him ended. He went to the hospital. He actually told me he was having a nurse try to call me and let me know what was going on because they admitted him. They did a bunch of tests, blood work, all that. Obviously, it was still positive.
Did he drive himself?
No, the ambulance took him out of here. Actually, he couldn't walk down the stairs.
Oh gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I should have probably called the emergency line, but our town is so amazing. They were here in 2 minutes, literally.
Oh, awesome.
Like not even 2 minutes. Even on the non-emergency line, I'm like,
that's awesome.
You're fast. I didn't even have the bag packed.
Yeah.
Or I was packing the bag. So he goes to the hospital and they're running a bunch of tests. Find out he has bilateral pneumonia. So that's why I say, don't wait too long. Because that's what we should have went a lot fast. He should have went a lot faster. Yeah. So he gets there, and I can't be there with him. They're not allowing people to see him at all. The next day, first of all, I felt a big sigh of relief. He said, what did you do when I left? Honestly, I just prayed and breathed so deep because I couldn't help him anymore.
Right.
And that was what was. So the next day, I get the call. They said his blood gases aren't good. Blood oxygen levels not good. We have to intubate him.
Oh my God.
I said, does that mean put him on a ventilator? Because my mom's a nurse, y'all. My mom is a nurse and she's dealt with COVID. So I know a lot of the terms. I know a lot of stuff. And so I said, and I had, up until this point, I had heard that someone being on a ventilator was not good and they weren't making it off of it. And she said, well, because it's been so long, we need to put him on for a few days. Otherwise, and I realized by talking to my mom what the repercussions of that were, because things could start to fail if he wasn't put on the ventilator. So he was put on the ventilator for 3 days, and I didn't get to talk to him before he went on the
still didn't get to go or anything.
No. Honestly, through all of this, I had to lean on my faith.
Yeah.
And let me tell you how God brought community to me, because this time is very lonely.
Oh, I'm sure. Can't imagine.
And I posted a picture on Facebook of my family, and I was saying how much I loved my family and how grateful I am. And I remember the last happy time that we had, and that was my son's graduation, his kindergarten graduation day. It was a happy day. And so a woman in my small group that I love dearly, she asked how my family was coping with COVID-19. But what y'all don't know is the night previously to that, I was doing a devotion, and God said in my devotion, it said, in the form of love, sometimes God brings you friends.
Yes.
And the next day, because I wasn't sharing until this point, the next day, that was what I posted, and she said that, and it became leaked out on Facebook, or became evident that my husband had COVID-19, and everyone knew then, and people rallied around me.
Oh, good.
Were you worried at first what people would do?
Huh?
Did you have a fear at first of what people would do, or just because the headlines, like?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I wasn't
putting it out there.
Why, obviously, I wasn't positive, but I shared with my gym, because I shared that I had been around somebody that was, but I wasn't positive. So, it wasn't. So I just didn't go back anymore at all. Because of course I want to protect people. And then I just, that's where a lot, for 2 weeks, I didn't work out or do it. Like, it was a hard time. I just made sure I ate clean. Right.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. So, people just rallied around me, and our couple small group, they took care of us in a big way, and brought and did meals for a couple weeks, and friends, and just monetarily, we won't. Even with his work group, we won't have any medical bills after this.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
He just really took care of us in an amazing way, and I don't know how I'll ever repay those people. I promise I'll pay it forward. I don't know how I could ever. My gratitude is, I literally have sat on the floor and cried about it.
Aw. Wow. So how long was he on the ventilator?
3 days.
And then did you ever get to go to the hospital and visit with him?
No.
So how did he get home?
I did. I was able to pick him up.
Okay.
And even that was crazy. I was able to pick him up, and I just got updates from the nurses and things like that. I called and pestered them twice a day. I was like, I expected updates 2 and 3 times a day. I will call you.
Yeah.
I do not care. My husband is on a ventilator. I do not care. I'm calling and pestering you.
You're going to know my voice.
Yes. And some people, there were some that got nasty, and I'm like, sorry, I can't be there. And I'm going to call you, and you're going to hear my voice, and you're going to tell me what's going on, because this is a critical time. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
well, okay. So you kind of said it. And I remember asking you this, but for those people that are watching and just heard your story, and you know, we all have the fear of the swab and then the ventilator and not being at the hospital. Like, those are the really scary moments. But what is something that you want our audience to know? Like, what is something that you like think that is the most crucial thing right now that people should know about this virus?
Take care of yourself. Absolutely 100% take care of yourself. Do what you can. They're not preaching to take your vitamins. They're not preaching to eat clean. They're not preaching to keep moving. But take care of yourself. They're treating this. My husband was treated in the hospital with vitamins. Okay. Zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D. There was not, is it niacin? I don't remember. They're treating it with vitamins. Take your vitamins.
Yeah.
Strong probiotic. I actually take Plexus. I've taken Plexus for a year now, and it's changed my life. I have actually bad allergies, and I don't get sick that often because it all. And what I'm stressing about that, I'm not saying. I mean, Plexus is what I do for me,
right?
But take some probiotics, heal your gut, clean eating, keep moving. The more stagnant we are, like that's what I'm saying right now. Just take care of yourself. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. And same for your kids. Do they eat perfect? They're kids. I struggle with that.
Yeah.
But I'm giving them vitamins and things like that. I do the best I can with that, as far as that goes.
We do. Sorry.
And mindset too. I mean, you got to work to keep. I struggle from anxiety. Yeah. You got to work to keep your mindset. Just find things that fill you. Find things that, keep you going every day. Honestly.
Ugh. Did you say somebody had a question, Robbie?
Yes, I was going to say Debbie was wondering, and we didn't ask this, it's a great question, but how long was your husband's total stay in the hospital?
Just a week. Praise Jesus. Just a week. I didn't tell the story about my kids. My kids were negative.
Oh, good.
But you mentioned you were negative. They had a low-grade fever, and that was traumatic because I took them. They had a low-grade fever when they checked them. When they were going to swab them. My husband's on the ventilator. That was traumatic for me. I literally left there crying, and my pediatrician's office is amazing. So I'm not saying, but they're wanting me to hold him down in the car. He jacks me in the jaw with his leg. So I dropped him out of the car, like on the cement, because he jacked me in the face.
Oh my God.
So I about cried about that because she said he might have hit his head. So I'm watching him for a concussion, right?
Oh
no. Mom fail. Like I felt my son is 70 pounds. Like he's like girth.
Yeah.
And so they had me sit outside to hold him down, and they give him a bloody nose because they are up his brain.
Oh.
Like both sides, like pouring.
Oh.
And he didn't want to do it anyway because he watched his sister. And my daughter is so cooperative anyway.
Yeah.
And she was bawling because they were up her brain.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's bad.
God worked it out. I don't know where. A couple days later, I did figure out that my son had a molar coming in. So that would be a good reason why.
The fever.
Yes, I don't know her, but they both had low-grade fevers, but they were negative. So I got on Facebook and I was like, praise Jesus, they are dead. And then I found out later that my husband was coming off the ventilator that day.
Oh, good.
And so I was really doing a hallelujah.
Yeah.
Well,
out of here.
I know your husband was out of it, but like, bless his heart to have to be in there alone. Like, he probably doesn't really remember any of it, right? Or was he really lonely or worried, or like, what was it like for him?
No, honestly.
Vacation.
He said he was so out of it that he wouldn't have even known if I loved it.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good to know, especially those that are affected like that can't be there. Because I always say, oh dear, if one of my kids or my, mother or whoever, like I don't know I could function without being there.
Yeah,
but they don't know.
I said, if I would have been there, I would have, right? And he's like, yeah. He goes, they couldn't have kept you out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's the honest to God truth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but he said, honestly, it didn't affect me. I mean, obviously he cares, but but that's so out of it. Yeah. He said the medication alone, they healed him with remdesivir and steroids. So remdesivir is an amazing antiviral drug. It saved his life. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're using here. So, I mean, for his particular case, they did.
Yeah.
So, and vitamins.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So, yes.
Now, Heather, has he seen any side effects, like now that you're weeks out from it, like, over a month out, has he still, is his energy back? Is he back to normal, or is there any lingering?
So he lost 20 pounds, came back I'm like, half of you left. Like, where'd you go? He came back home and I was like, wow, crazy. And then, so he had muscle weakness. And muscle weakness, and his leg was numb, I think right leg or something, and obviously winded because he had bilateral pneumonia.
Yeah.
So he started working out with me. All the muscle weakness is gone. All of it. He said his muscles feel so strong right now that it's just such a great feeling for him. All of it's gone. It's just
that's so good.
To him, it feels like a lifetime ago. He said it's not been that long, and to other people it just happened, and they're so glad to see him when they do see him. But he said it feels like a lifetime ago to him. Like that's gone. And obviously he still gets a little winded going, but he's trying to run and build up his lungs and
yes.
And
so now that he's cured, he's been past it. How are people when they approach him now? Like no one feels like he cooties or at this point, right? I mean, what are people like? Okay, good.
No. Obviously now people are just elated to see him because they do know that he's been on the ventilator. And I think when someone goes through that, you begin to, I hate that it takes that, honestly, but you begin to appreciate people a whole lot more when you know that they came out of something like that. Yeah. I know it did even for my family. I just appreciate life.
Yeah.
I'm so super grateful that we've.
So that is the positive that came out of all of the yuckiness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, just to lighten things up a little bit, but I mean, I'm so thankful. I followed your story the whole time. So Heather and I met previously to all this. And then I started, when she started posting finally about it, I was following along and I was like, oh dear.
Yeah.
But she and I had been back and forth talking about starting a business at home. And so when all that happened, I was like, shut it down. Like, let's focus on what's important here. And
it took me a little bit.
Huh?
It took me a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway, once he started feeling better, you can see Heather has all this energy. So she was like, okay, I think I'm ready. But Heather, in the midst of all of your anxiety with this and struggle, you decided to start your own business. Okay. So tell us already busy, already living this crazy life, having been through quarantine. Maybe that's what did it. Maybe just I'm out of quarantine. Let's do something fun. Why did you start this? Why did you decide to do this?
Honestly, half of it's because I live in athletic gear. Come on, all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. These days I find myself, not that I don't care about my family because I love them so much. But proving to myself that I can do things. Mm-hmm. Even in the gym, the more I can do, the stronger I am, the more things that I can be successful at.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Is an amazing feeling to me. And I am on a mission, and whatever God chooses to use that with me, I am on a mission to encourage and empower women and to make them feel better about themselves in a time when there's some difficult things going on. I have a heart for that. It's the way I was made. I just love people. So I want to be used.
Yep.
Well, you definitely are. Your story is very inspirational. I can't wait to see how it all ends up playing out even more. I mean,
your story is not over, sister.
Exactly. It's just
I don't think so either. I mean, I just pray that I am doing the right thing, and I pray for His will and things like that. But I'm just gonna keep, like I say all the time, I just keep going.
Exactly. That's all we can do.
Forward, right?
Yeah. Move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so Robbie, you got anything else? Because I've got some Mama Madness questions. If not,
awesome. Let's go on and get into that.
Okay. So Heather,
one question real quick, Heather. Rachel, she was asking how many days between the gastro symptoms to him getting tested.
It was probably 3 days, 2-3 days.
Okay, so pretty quick after.
Yeah, because it was the weekend when we got back, and then he just wasn't getting better. So I'd say 3 days.
Okay.
Because we were driving home, and then the next day he kind of just waited it out, and then the third day he went and decided it was time to be seen.
Yeah.
Time to go.
Yeah.
Well, let's definitely get into Mama Madness. This has been amazing. Yeah.
So Mama Madness, this is probably the thing I'm a little bit nervous about because, like, off the cuff, like firing, it's like a firing action at me.
You'll do great.
These are actually just like your regular everyday Mama Madness questions. You know, like seriously, this isn't about preparing you for this, but
yeah,
if you're not comfortable, we don't have to totally do it.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay,
no, let's do it.
All right, here's one for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
Oh.
I am gonna say that I'm pretty safety aware, but I would give myself an 8.
Is your husband still in the room with you?
He's probably somewhere. However, he will not say the same.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, so
I make him car sick.
That's funny. That's funny.
What is your favorite day of the week and why?
Ooh. Honestly, to be honest, it would be Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Yep.
Sunday. You know what? All things, and I'm not saying I worship God on other days, but all things I just love going to church and worshiping and hearing a good word. And
yes.
Yep.
I get something every Sunday. Honestly.
Yep.
So here's the next one. What would you say is the best age yet?
Oh boy. I'd say I'm living my best age right now.
Woo!
To be honest. Well, maybe last year when you have all this crap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. How long does it take for Heather to get ready?
45 minutes to an hour.
Wow.
That's including the shower.
Oh, well, that's including the shower. You're good.
Okay, yeah, that's good. All
right. And this one, you may or may not like this question, but we need to know. You're obviously a clean eater, but what is your favorite junk food?
What's your splurge?
That's hard to answer. I actually really love chocolate brownies.
Oh, me too.
I am a pie lover. Like, I love, yes, girl, some apple pie, some peach pie, some
veg pie,
butterscotch pie, some, girl, I love it.
You want to go have some pie?
Yes. And I have to stay away from it.
Yes.
Well, look, you just got through Mama Madness. It was that easy.
You made it. I know. We definitely appreciate you being on, Heather. You are such an inspiration. I think you're encouraging to a lot of people and people that have had that anxiety, you know, of not knowing what to expect. Some great advice. So we definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing that.
I appreciate you letting me tell my story. I almost didn't feel worthy being here because I just started. I just started with all of this. But I really appreciate being able to be, you know, to tell my story and because I haven't actually gotten to tell it because, you know, quarantine, to talk to a lot of people. So, thank you so much.
Because you've got an awesome story to tell. So keep sharing it and keep telling it and educating people as well. It's awesome.
Well, especially I think that this is God's way of using you to share it. I mean, this is your mission. You're being a missionary at the same time. So because you've totally put all your faith in God through all of it, and I think that is important for you to share that. So,
and I continually still lean into Him. The other day, there's a lot of junk being thrown at us. A lot of junk, like stuff that you just don't know it's true anymore.
Right.
So I was praying the other day just to take my, you know, for my fears and for clarity, just clarity. We need to be praying for clarity these days, and for Him to make it clear what He wants us to know. I think I'm on a mission for Him. Not a lot else matters right now, honestly.
I love it.
Well, I'm so thankful that you could be on with us and share your story because that's important to us as well. So.
Well, you blessed me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather. And y'all be sure to follow Heather. You can see right here, she's at heather.watson.58910. So definitely check her out on Instagram as well. You can keep up with her fun fashion outfits.
Yeah.
Stay connected with Heather. And you probably could DM her as well if you have any questions or concerns. She might be able to help you or kind of tell you her experience. So definitely go follow her. Like I said, it's right here, heather.watson58910. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies.
Bye. Isn't she adorable?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, such good advice because I've had those questions like when to go get tested. It was interesting to hear the gut health as well. Like, you know, the gastro problems that led up to it.
Well, and the guy that, you know, I told you we'd been kind of exposed through it. His main thing was it was like affected his head so much, like
really
weird like shocks of cold and like so. It definitely watch the headaches.
It's just a crazy virus.
Yeah, it's just it's out there. But watch the virus. I mean, watch the headaches and the fever. And the main thing, like Heather said, is when it's hard to breathe.
Yes, go.
Yeah,
that's when you need to just go. That is so wild. Definitely good advice. That was, that was very good. Very interesting.
Yeah.
They have been through a lot.
Yeah. So,
but, you know, we never get a testimony without a test. So, she's got her story.
Robbie.
There you go. Well, then next week, Ricci, we have on Ansley.
Yes.
Ansley, who's a busy mama, and she's a life coach. So she's going to have some great tips for us. I'm excited about that as well. That should be interesting.
Yes.
So I'm excited.
Well, we went really long today, and you kind of suspected we would because there's a lot of questions, and hearing that testimony, everybody wants to know it. So I'm glad she was able to share it. But so we won't drag this out too much longer.
No.
Hey, what leggings are you wearing today?
Oh, girl, no, I'm not. I'm not even gonna show.
Show me your leggings.
It's like
oh my God, Robbie!
It's like zebra print. That is too funny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
That's
well,
hilarious.
we're sisters at heart.
I know. Well, as Holly says, we're the R&R.
We are.
Today.
Well, now that we have our wild leggings on,
I know.
That's so funny. We didn't even know.
I know.
Do you have this with it?
No, I wore like a little grid bra.
Okay.
So
I'm definitely pulling out the matching stops today. So.
Yes, you are. I love it. That is so cute together. Love it, love it.
Yep.
As always, everybody, I hope you're all living your best life in leggings.
Yeah. And you know, I hesitate to say this, but have a little liquor too. But I have my best friend in town, and we've had a little bit too much fun the last couple of days, so we might just take it easy today.
Yes, y'all just take it easy. We'll definitely see y'all next week. And also remember, if you're watching and you ever know a busy mom that you think would be great or has some awesome tips, let us know, because we would love to have them on the show. We're always looking for new guests as well.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have a good day. We'll see you next week.
Robbie.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.